The journey of Nyangral Nyima Özer, the one who revealed the hidden treasures of Padmasambhava, on a cold morning beneath the clear blue Tibetan sky of the quiet Lodrak region where only the wind could be heard, a child was born into the ancient Nyang family, a lineage long intertwined with Vajrayana teachings since the era of the early Tibetan kings. He did not cry much. He did not fuss. He simply opened his eyes and looked. His mother held him, puzzled by the marks on his tiny body moles, subtle patterns that seasoned practitioners in the region recognized instantly. They brought their palms together and whispered, "This child is not an ordinary being." Rumors spread quickly across valleys, monasteries, and nomadic camps. Some said, "He is the reincarnation of an ancient Dharmic king." Others whispered, "There is a profound connection between him and Padmasambhava Guru Rinpoche himself." But to the child, all of these were nothing but the sound of wind. The only thing he truly knew was this. Inside him, something ancient was sleeping. From a very young age, Nyangral was different. While other children threw stones or chased one another across the grasslands, he preferred to sit alone on the hillside. Sometimes he sat so still that people thought he had fallen asleep. But if one looked closely, they would notice his half-closed eyes, slightly open, slightly withdrawn, as if he were not fully here, as if part of him was somewhere else. One day, around the age of 8, he told his father, a respected Vajrayana practitioner in the region, "I saw a strange teacher in the light. He wore an unusual hat, garments in many colors. He looked at me without speaking, but I knew his name was Padmasambhava." His father remained silent for a long moment. He neither celebrated nor denied it. He simply asked, "Were you afraid?" The child shook his head. "No, I felt like meeting someone I already knew." From that day onward, visions came more frequently. Sometimes he saw himself standing inside a mandala of radiant light, surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Sometimes he saw strange letters, syllables glowing in midair, dissolving directly into his heart. Those were the moments when the gate of his spiritual memory began to open. As he grew older, Nyangral's father transmitted to him the sacred teachings the family had preserved for generations. Ancient tantras, esoteric practices dating back to King Trisong Detsen, rituals invoking Avalokiteshvara, Hayagriva, and fierce yet compassionate protector deities. But he did not learn only from his father. He traveled to monasteries, sought other masters, received initiations, transmissions, and meditation instructions. Yet there was something everyone noticed. He was not merely learning something new, he was remembering something old. Difficult doctrines, long mantras, he absorbed them with uncanny ease, as though they had been stored somewhere in the depths of his mind all along. One elderly master once told his disciples, "This boy, he is not beginning a new lesson. He is continuing a lesson unfinished from a previous life." Then, one day, the inner calling became too strong to ignore. Nyangral left his home, left Lodrak, carrying only a few belongings, some scriptures, a few TNSA-ATA clay offerings, and a bit of dry food. He began walking the same path many tertöns had walked before him, the path of mountain caves, desolate places, nights of snowstorms, and long hours of meditation in total darkness. He traveled to the places he had seen in his childhood visions, a valley with a river like a silver ribbon, a cliffside shaped like the face of a protective deity, a high mountain cave where Padmasambhava was said to have once entered deep samadhi. There, he entered retreat. Some days, snow fell heavily, and wind howled at the cave's entrance like a living force. He meditated in the dark, with only a small butter lamp flickering beside him. His breath slowed. Thoughts quieted. Body and mind withdrew from the world. In those deep states of absorption, the visions were no longer vague or dreamlike. They became clear, precise, as if revealing another layer of reality. He saw Padmasambhava not in paintings, not in texts, but in an infinite space made entirely of light. The Guru gazed at him with eyes as deep as an abyss, stern yet gentle. Nyangral heard no sound, yet understood every intention. Padmasambhava pointed to the boy's heart, then to the mountains encircling Tibet, as if saying, "What I have hidden, Now's the time for you to reveal. And then the moment came. One day, in a remote mountain cave, while meditating, Nyangral sensed something unusual in the rock wall before him. Not a sound, not a light, but an energetic field, a subtle vibration, like a call from the distant past. He stood up, walked forward, and placed his hand on the stone. The rock was cold, yet somewhere deep inside, something felt warm. He recited the mantra of Padmasambhava, gathering his mind into a single, arrow-like focus. Each syllable resonated through the cave. And then, a faint cracking sound. A thin fissure appeared on the rock surface. It widened slowly, gently, as though an invisible hand inside was pushing outward. Behind the stone was a small chamber. Inside were carefully wrapped scrolls, along with a few sacred objects, statues, texts, mandalas. On several of the scrolls, the seal of Padmasambhava appeared clearly, not just as a symbol, but as a field of force. When Nyangral touched them, his mind instantly settled into a profound stillness. He understood. He had just uncovered a terma, a hidden treasure, placed there by the masters of old. But Nyangral did not stop at one cave. Throughout his life, he continued to seek, uncover, and decipher many such termas. Among them were treasures that reshaped the entire spiritual landscape of Tibet. Texts praising and revealing the nature of Avalokiteshvara, tantric systems of wrathful deities meant to cut through ignorance, and most notably, the biographies of Padmasambhava himself. Before Nyangral, the stories of Guru Rinpoche were scattered, fragmented, half lost in legend. After him, they formed a nearly complete tapestry, from his miraculous lotus birth to his journeys subduing dark forces, his invitation to Tibet, the building of Samye Monastery, his transmission of Vajrayana and Dzogchen, and finally his concealment of termas for the future. Put simply, Nyangral was the one who narrated and awakened the entire Padmasambhava universe for the Tibetan people. Without him, today we might know only a handful of vague tales. Because of him, Padmasambhava became the living heart of an entire tradition. Interestingly, Nyangral was not a hermit cut off from life. He had a family, a wife, children. One of his sons would later become a practitioner himself, continuing his father's lineage. Imagine this: a windy afternoon on the plateau, in the courtyard of a small monastery, a father who was both a great tertön and a simple human being, standing quietly as his young son practices reading the very scriptures he had once revealed from stone. Somewhere nearby, children laugh. From the main hall, chanting echoes softly. And in one corner of the courtyard, Nyangral stands still, smiling with a very special kind of peace. His life was a reminder. Enlightenment does not always mean leaving the world behind, nor does it demand cutting off all human ties. Sometimes, light can shine right inside a small home, amidst the sound of children crying, dogs barking, and dishes clattering in the kitchen. In the later years of his life, many disciples gathered around Nyangral. They came not only for the mystical termas, but for the field of peace radiating from his presence. When he taught, his words were few, not elaborate, not trying to sound profound. He told stories of King Trisong Detsen, stories of Padmasambhava, stories of moments when he himself nearly collapsed in the snowy mountains, moments of doubt, exhaustion, loneliness so deep he thought of giving up. Then he laughed gently. But I realized something. Every time I hit the very bottom of despair, the Dharma found me in the most extraordinary ways, as if someone from a time far beyond this life had never stopped sending light toward me. A disciple asked, "Was that Padmasambhava?" He replied, "You may call it Padmasambhava. You may call it the Buddha. You may call it innate awareness or the grace of the universe. The name doesn't matter. What matters is this. When you truly open your heart, you will know it has always been there." When the time came for Nyangral to leave his physical body, there was no grand ceremony, just an ordinary day. The mountain still stood. The wind still moved through the prayer flags. Disciples later said the sky that day felt slightly different. The light softer, the clouds forming unusual shapes atop the peaks. But perhaps the significance wasn't in the sky. It was in this. A human life had come to an end, yet the spiritual treasures he revealed continued to spread like rays of sunlight that no longer depend on the one who first lit them. More than 800 years have passed since that day. Across small altars in Tibet, Bhutan, Nepal, India, people still light lamps and recite prayers that Nyangral once uncovered. When a practitioner chants the Avalokiteshvara mantra from the Mani text, when a Tibetan bows before an image of Padmasambhava with his 8 manifestations, Nyangral's footprints are still there, woven into the energetic field of those teachings. And now, as you sit somewhere, perhaps in a noisy modern city, far from the Tibetan plateau, yet you are listening to his story, this too is a kind of terma being opened. Not from a stone wall, but from the subtle boundary between your busy mind and the quieter place within you. You may not see a crack appear, but if you become still for a moment, you might notice something inside you vibrates very softly when hearing stories like this, as if it recognizes something, as if it whispers, "Ah, so I have known this light before." If the life of Nyangral Nyima Özer had to be summed up in a single line, it might be this: a ray of sunlight traveling from the past into the present, reminding us that the deepest treasure is not hidden in stone, but in our own mind. And just as he once stood before a sealed rock wall, you too are standing before a wall, the wall of worries, fears, confusion, and doubt. Yet somewhere behind that layer of stone, who knows, there may also be a treasure waiting for you. One day, when you are quiet enough, honest enough, courageous enough, perhaps the first crack will appear,